Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Figured Out Productions. The following video is a video of some kind, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hey guys, it's Adam here, and welcome to PlayLoad. This is all my pickups for the month of June 2017, or well, most of my pickups. So this month I went to a couple of conventions. I went to E3 in Los Angeles, which was great. I got to go out there on, how do I phrase this? I didn't have to pay for the expenses, which was really very nice. I got a very generous offer from what we'll call an angel investor. So that was awesome. I got to do that and see all sorts of cool things. Now, of course, I didn't actually pick up anything at E3 because E3 is not really about that. We'll talk more about E3 towards the end because I got some cool stuff from there, just not video games specifically. And the other thing I did was I went to Too Many Games in Philadelphia. I was a guest of the convention. Now there I actually did buy stuff, and that was really a lot of fun. But I'm going to do a whole video on Too Many Games. There's no point in doing it here. So there are games I picked up this month that are not in this. They'll just be in a different video. Now, as you can see, that aside, not a whole lot of stuff this month, but still got some stuff. Thought I'd show it off. But if you really are wanting a big pickups video, trust me, your wait is... oh, it will not be that long. My last Japanese pickup, I was going to say Xbox because I have Xbox games in front of me. Japanese pickups video is about to come out, and it's a doozy. It's huge. The amount of stuff I got, oh man, that's like the video. Anyway, so you'll get your kick there. But in the meantime, hopefully this will hold you over a bit. So like I said, just got some stuff, and let's just talk about it real quick here. First thing I got is actually something I got a while ago, and I completely forgot to show you because it was so like I don't fucking even care about this game. Here's what it is: Big Buck Hunter Arcade for the Xbox One. So this was only acquired for the purposes of comedy for my other channel, Game Society. We did a single video on this and never touched it again. And I just ended up with it, and then it just sat in a pile, and I completely forgot to ever show it to you. But yes, technically I have it. Here it is. Whoop-de-doo. Whatever. Then something actually worthwhile. I pre-ordered this quite some time ago when I had a nice Visa checkout discount over at Best Buy. I told this story multiple times. Long story short, I got this game for like basically 50% off day one, which is ARMS for the Nintendo Switch. So cool fighting game. I haven't really played it much yet. Obviously I want to because this is something I hear a lot of people are talking like when I rode back from Too Many Games, the con had kind of sprung for a limo for us, which was fucking amazing. And there was a bunch of people in there. Most of them were like MLG type of gamers. Like that's what their thing was. I'm not that by any stretch of the imagination. But it was funny because they're all talking about like different fighting games, and ARMS was one they kept talking about, and like how it's going to be the next scene competitive game and shit. And I'm like, right on. So ARMS, definitely a game potentially worth picking up for if you have a Nintendo Switch, certainly, because you're going to need content. But yeah, there you go. And then the one, oddly enough, that I was most excited about from that grouping, which is strange, I agree, was Cars 3 Driven to Win. Why would I be excited about a children's game? Basically just because this is one of the last Wii U titles that's going to get a physical edition. It's very surprising this game was even announced and released at all, but it was, and that's awesome. As you guys probably full well know at this point, I've been looking to get a full Wii U collection, and I'm super close. And of course, it's nice to see just a couple extra titles that'll trickle out like this. This is definitely cool. So good to have at least one more game hit the Wii U. Now, that said, I decided to get a few OG Xbox games. I had kind of veered away from that for a while, just mostly because of, well, I don't know if I had any real specific reason. It was just more like it wasn't working out. But obviously the biggest announcement, in my opinion, at E3 this year was, at least the most exciting to me personally, aside from certain games, was the announcement that Microsoft is going to introduce OG Xbox backwards compatibility into the Xbox One. When if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know that I've been harping on that for a long time. I've even met up with Major Nelson and Chris Charla and have asked them to their faces, like, is that ever going to happen? It's interesting to see their reactions now in hindsight. Chris Charla's reaction was like, oh, we want to do it, it's just there's no one on the team who would. They're all doing 360. So I guess they either hired more people or they just decided to make it more of a priority, which is awesome. And I remember when I asked Major Nelson that same question, he just like laughed in my face. He's like, no, we're never going to do that. But he also said the same thing about 360, which is, I mean, that's his job. That's what he's supposed to say, but it's fine. But anyway, so That said, I thought I'll get more OG Xbox games, get a few more off the list, because also, like the Wii U, it would be nice to get a full OG Xbox set, though that one's a little bit harder. But the games are still very cheap, though I think that because of that announcement, they started to spike a little bit, certain titles in particular. Nothing really here, fortunately, but nevertheless, let's just talk about these a few games I got. First one up is Pitfall: The Lost Expedition. I don't, I think it's a platformer. Obviously, it's based on the classic Pitfall. It even says right on the cover that it includes Pitfall 1 and 2, which I guess is cool. Although I don't remember hearing much about this one specifically. I don't think it was an amazing title. NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. When it comes to like, sports games that just appear in bargain bins, I have to give some credit to the racing games. At least they're a little bit different. They're at least, more playable, in my personal opinion, as opposed to like Madden titles, but again, that's just me. Groove Riders Slot Car Thunder. Fun fact about this game, this is the smallest in terms of data game on the OG Xbox. This game, when you back it up, 93 megabytes. Very tiny title. Black. This game is kind of interesting because I remember this was one of those like weird holdover games where they released this on the 360 and stuff, but they for some reason had done OG Xbox version, and everybody was kind of like, why? Pretty cool game, actually. Cool FPS. I don't remember much about the OG version being better or anything like that. I think it's just kind of, it existed to exist. Aggressive Inline, which is, I think, from that era where they were trying to copy Tony Hawk's Pro Skater success. I don't remember this ever yielding any other fruit, though. And finally, I know this one, even though I was never into this franchise, I know this game is actually rather uncommon and sought after. This is Digimon Rumble Arena 2, which was essentially Smash Brothers with Digimon characters. So to the certain crowd, that's awesome. To me, whatever. It's just a game I had to get on the collection. So good to finally get all of those. So awesome. One more video game, and then we'll move on to some swag. Well, swag plus one other random item. I was contacted by a guy named David, and he basically said, like, hey, I've got a couple copies of this game. I don't need them. Would you like one? And I first said no, and he's like, just say yes, and I'll just send it to you. Like, he didn't want to go through that, and I was like, all right. But it's true though. Don't send me stuff. You don't have to do that. But he was insistent, so he sent this to me. So thank you to David for this. So let's go ahead and open it up. Inside, it is a PS3 copy of the Sly Collection. Now, the Sly Collection is a series of 3 games based on Sly Cooper, Sly 2, Band of Thieves, Sly 3, Honor Among Thieves. They were PlayStation 2 games originally. They remastered them and did a whole collection for the PlayStation 3. It's kind of cool. I never actually played the original games, and it would be cool. I always kind of wanted to. I really, I like platformers. And to get a PS3 like remastered collection is much, much nicer. And this particular title was one that was always kind of on my like, if I find it, I'll get it type of list. But now I don't have to. So thank you very much for doing that, David. That was really, very cool of you. Now, let's talk about these other random items. The first thing is definitely not swag. It's just something that was cool as shit. This is Gunstar Heroes by Data Disc. This is actually a vinyl record full of music, obviously. Now, this is actually a 2-record set. And I've got all the previous ones in the Sega set so far. These are really high quality, like, vinyl records. I mean, I was never that into vinyl or anything, but I can tell, even as like a total music noob, that listening to these things, the music quality is way better when you have like a nice setup for it. So that's really cool. And I'm glad that they're putting out like OSTs of all these, like, let's face it, relatively obscure game. I mean, Gunstar Heroes is a great game, but not a whole lot of people know about it. So for this to get a vinyl record release in like 20, 25 years, 30 years after the game came out, that's really cool, considering it, as far as I know, it never even had a sequel. So yeah, that's awesome. Just thought I'd show you guys that. That's something I bought a while ago. Now, on to something I did not buy. Like I said, I went to E3, and I was fortunate enough to basically be sent there. All expenses paid, which is really very cool. Now, I have no basis for comparison because I've never been to E3 before. This was the first time I ever went. And it was cool, don't get me wrong, but like a lot of people who were there said it was like one of the worst years of E3 ever. And I don't mean like, oh, the games they announced were bad or any shit like that. What I mean is that this was the first year they sold public passes, meaning like anybody off the street could walk in and buy a ticket and go. Whereas in all previous years it has been media only, some version of media, which I was, incidentally. Now, Because of that, there was at least an additional 15,000 people in attendance, which meant the convention really wasn't prepared for that, and the lines for everything were much bigger than originally anticipated, which is unfortunate. So your average line would be about 2 to 3 hours, and the convention floor is only open for like 6 to 8, depending on the day. And so that meant you could really only do 2 or 3 things in a day. And that's kind of shit. When I say things, I mean like play a game. Now, I really didn't have it in me, the interest to do that, you know, I mean, I'm there for like business reasons, you know, I want to make connections and all that kind of stuff, so if I want to play anything, I hate to be a douche, but I wanted to skip that line, I want to just fucking play it. Now, the most connections I have, if I'm honest, I was at Ubisoft, so I basically would talk to a lot of my buddies who work there, and I'd be like, hey, I'm here too, do you mind, can I come into the VIP room and play the game, and they were generally like, yeah, that's fine, whatever, come on in. And so I got to play a lot of their stuff, which was really nice. In fact, because of that, I was able to talk my way into the Ubisoft conference, which was awesome, because of them, I was like 5 feet away from Shigeru Miyamoto when they announced that Mario Rabbids game. He came out, and I was obviously not expecting that. He walks down the hall, I'm like, motherfucker, he's right there. It was amazing. And I ended up playing that game too, which was pretty cool. I even did a video on it on my other channel if you want to check it out. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Now the reason I'm telling you all of this is that when you go to conventions like that, like E3, and like or Gamescom, which I've done, or PAX Prime, stuff like that, one of the things I always looked out for was swag, you know, all the free promo stuff that companies give away. And I don't know, man, maybe it's just I'm older now, I'm 30, maybe it's just I don't really care anymore. But most of the swag people are giving out, I was like, I really don't give a shit. You know, like, it's just stuff I have to carry around, so I wasn't that excited about it. That said, I still got some, so I thought I would show it to you. The first thing I got, which at first was like the original throwback to like, yes, it's time to go swag hunting, was this. It's a Mega Man bag. You got the blue side, the blue bomber there, and then on the red side. And basically it says collect them all in the bag. And basically the way this worked is they had 4 different bags, and each day they would introduce a new one. So I grabbed this one right away the first day. I was like, yeah, swag! And then as time went on, I was like, I don't even know why I care about this. So I have this bag, but in all honesty, I don't know what the fuck to do with it. So whatever. I never ended up getting any of the others. I'm not even sure who they were. I know the Joker was one of them, and then I think there were like 2 others, but I don't remember what they were. So whatever. Mega Man bag. This random pair of sunglasses. I was walking past the Let It Die booth, and they literally just handed me a pair of sunglasses. Like, here you go, here's some sunglasses. So I have some, honestly, not particularly effective sunglasses. These are really not a great way to see. But yeah, there you go, some sunglasses. The best pieces of swag, in my opinion, are t-shirts, because they're actually interesting and they're functional. So I got 2 of them. One of them was this. This is for Skullenbones. Now, you might remember Skullenbones, like you see this logo on the front there, and on the back it just says Skullenbones. Skullenbones, if you don't remember, is the game that Ubisoft showed off at the conference that was about pirate ships, and a lot of people were comparing it to like the whole pirate mechanic of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Now, cool thing about that is that they weren't allowing people to play that game. That was not something that was out on the floor, it was just something they had shown a video of. But they were allowing people to play it in the VIP area. So I talked my way in there and I actually got to play Skullenbones twice. That game was fun as shit. And at the end they're like, you want a t-shirt? We got a box of t-shirts. I'm like, yeah, I want a t-shirt. So I got a fucking t-shirt. The other t-shirt I'm actually wearing at the moment. This is a t-shirt for South Park: The Fractured But Whole. But what you can see here is that it's the Coon and Friends, all the characters. But the best part about it is right there in the center. They allowed you to create your own custom character using the South Park character creator, and then it would, you know, they would, once you were done with it, they'd send it to a computer and it would literally print the whole thing onto a t-shirt. So that I designed myself. That's South Park me on a t-shirt. Fuck yeah. So that was very cool. And then the only other piece of swag that I picked up was something I was super excited about. I had heard about it and I was like, this is the one fucking thing I need to like run over and make sure I get. Sega was giving away Yakuza 6 bags. You didn't even have to stand in line. Like, they just had tons of these things. They were just handing them out, which is hilarious because like this is not a particularly sought after piece of anything. Like I said, you didn't have to do anything special to get it. They just gave it to you. They'll give it. You didn't even play a demo. Like, you just had to go over there and they just hand you one. But I still wanted it like really bad because I was just like, you don't see Yakuza merch very often, so it was definitely cool to to get that. It's a very impractical bag too, and you look like a complete dork wearing it, but whatever, it was still very cool. So yeah, anyway, that's it, I guess, for this month. I would like to thank David for his donation, and I'd also want to thank you guys for watching, and please stay tuned. Again, if this wasn't enough pickups for you, just wait for that Book Off video. It's Book Off. It's a Japanese bookstore. Oh man, I crushed it. You guys will see. It's amazing. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all later.